Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Tuning In. Today's special guest is Abid Hussein. He's actually my cousin, but it's more than that. We initially started this business together back in 2006. It was we were young guys. I was 21. He was 22. We had no clue what the fuck we're doing. We just
The good old days.
yo. You know what my thing was? I just wanted cheap car parts,
Yeah,
and I found a way.
and you were passionate.
And I needed some help. And this guy was the best help I knew. And we were young, but we had a dream of something. I don't know. I don't even know.
I
but
was
it was
passionate, But by the way, thanks for having me on your show, guys. And brother, he already introduced me. Thank you very much. So I'm kind of glad to be part of this show. First time. I just hope I don't bum out and get nervous.
Don't worry, just
You're
talk.
just fine. You're just
Here's
fine, my
here to
friend.
talk. So
No,
yeah,
I'm like, kind of right in front of the lights, and the lights are hitting my eyes, actually.
don't worry, you're a Hollywood star.
Yeah, fresh haircut.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
a
a
realtor
star.
life, eh?
that's it.
You
That's
got it, brother.
Yeah, man, those good old days.
So what you been up to now, man?
Just grinding, man. Just working. Right now, look, just came straight from showings. Guys caught me by surprise. You want me to come by your podcast? I was like, hey, man, I'm happy. I would love to come and just chill and chat with you guys. And just been working, man, just grinding really hard. And the market's just crazy out there.
You never told us what you do.
Oh, I'm a realtor. I work for Remax. I've been doing this for past, 10 years now.
Wow.
And I've been with one company since day one with Remax.
That's
and
amazing.
Yeah, it was.
What's going on, man? What the fuck is going on right now with the housing?
Just like every other industry, there's this disruption, and that's this lack of inventory, right? You got disruption in building material. The builders are not building 2 years from now.
Demand is
How often do
high.
you see, builders are actually advertising? Now they're starting to. So there's a shortage at that end. Second, with this pandemic, it came down to inventory, just supply. There's no
I
supply.
thought the pandemic would just kill the market. Like prices would go down.
That's what everybody thought.
Yeah, it's unreal.
It's never what people think.
Yeah.
Never.
It's crazy.
So before the pandemic to now, what percentage are we up by in terms of price increase in the GTA?
It's hard to pinpoint. Every area is different, but overall, it just seems like prices in the last year from now almost went up by like 300 to 400K on average.
That's insane.
Wow.
And the crazy thing is, before pandemic, you had the market just going right, at a decent flow. And then when pandemic kicked in,
What's a decent flow?
I mean, like, the supply was good.
It was fairly
Yeah.
linear, and then it went
Like, what's the
exponential.
percentage normally you should be going up by?
Well, put it this way, it's hard to pinpoint the exact percentage off my head. You know what I mean? I don't want to just make up any number. But what's interesting is that beginning of the pandemic, the minority buyers were actually investors. And right now, at this current time, the majority buyers are actually investors. And that's increased by 25%. 25% of the total sales right now are investors. So
The
these
boys with
investors-
the money.
Exactly.
So money talks.
Right?
Yeah.
So I work mainly with investors. And I'm always curious to know, like, hey, man, where are you getting this money from? Where are you getting from this money? And a lot of these investors are they have long-term investment either in stocks, most of them mutual funds or wherever. They've been saving for a long time, right? And the market on that end doubled. A lot of them found like, okay, you know what? This is unrealistic in a year. A lot of these guys' portfolio went up by 100%. So now, obviously, they don't trust that market because, it can go down any time. It's easy to manipulate. So a lot of people feel like, you know what, maybe I should park it and save park my money in real estate. Because real estate has this, guaranteed that everyone needs homes and they feel more comfortable. That's just one tiny little aspect of it, right? But majority of it, look at every household. Kids are growing up, mom and dad have a home, but like, look at our age. We're like what, in the mid-30s? How many people we know are in mid-30s that need homes, right? That
Yeah.
want to move out of their parents' home. They want
they
their
just
own
can't
place.
right now.
Right? But they don't want to pay rent.
Yeah.
Have you seen the rent price? The rent price is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So there's like number of factors what fueled up the market, but it all comes down to inventory because there's nothing in the market right now, right? So remember last year, I mean, we got lucky. We bought a nice one in Ajax, but at that time, everybody had this perception that the market's gonna drop, right? So buyers were hesitant to buy. They're like, you know what? We'll wait. Well, let me wait another month or two. Maybe the prices come down. I'll buy it again. Then I'll buy it. And then seller, on the other hand, there was that fear of obviously Corona. People didn't want to catch. They were scared, and only people that were selling, we call it in our industry guaranteed sale. Either they're moving, they're either going through divorce. It's a guaranteed sale. It's not a desired sale.
Yeah.
So that part was shrinking. The buyer side was increasing every month because more and more buyers thinking that we might get a deal. Then came to like around December and around December, where there were so many buyers piled up, right? They couldn't wait anymore. They had to buy, and not enough sellers. So there were some desperate buyers that just went nuts. And I think ever since December, this whole year, the market's been parabolic. It's just nonstop.
Out of control.
It's a
Out of
record
control,
year.
right? So the buyers kept on increasing, and the seller side, the inventory kept on shrinking, right? And it's just, there's only so much you can wait. Like I work with buyers all the time. The first week, no one's ready. Like they don't understand that I've been doing this for so long. What I see, what I feel, they still don't trust my instinct. They feel like they have to do their due diligence. They have to trust their instincts. So we'll put some offers, we'll lose 2-3 times, you lose them on them, and then right away they learn real quick that, okay, we're not the only one looking to buy.
Yeah.
When you go see our property and there's like 15 to 20 offers, you know what I mean? You learn quick. So
the crazy thing, that's what's happening in our market too right now with used cars.
Exactly.
There's no inventory. There's no
Crazy.
new cars. Enterprise, I think we used to pay like $30 a day rental rate. Right now they're charging $80 or $100 a day. Like it's out of control, and the reason is because they have no new cars coming.
That's a disruption in the flow, right?
Exactly.
That circle kind of stopped.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? New cars, there's not much new cars out there. Everyone needs a car.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
The used car market's up 20 to 30%.
23%, I think. I
Yeah.
remember reading somewhere 23%.
Exactly. It's crazy.
It's insane.
It's absurd. The truck market is upwards of 30%.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
That's insane.
yeah. Things are just getting out of control.
Absurd.
Yeah, and when you dissect that disruption, just like from near cars, the chip shortage, the biggest one is the chip shortage.
Yeah,
You got, all these big companies, they literally stopped their operation because of pandemic.
yeah.
Then you have a company that's making chips. They're not going to pay their employees. They're going to stop their companies too. So it's a ripple effect. More and more parts suppliers, they literally closed down because they felt like, okay, these manufacturers are not going to buy our stuff right now because nobody knew that maybe, this pandemic kind of put a scare in
Well,
everyone.
there's an issue with that Chinese that company in Taiwan for chips, and then the fires that happened in Texas that burnt a big
Well, the
plant.
storm, I think.
There's a
storm.
ice storm or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. That's caused a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And the automotive industry uses like really old chips. Like they're on
Yes.
some old chip, like the older chips. But the thing is, they're very, very reliable. So they're not willing to really change. It's our industry is changing a lot, like with sensors and autonomous driving. But then chips are still very basic chips that they're using because they work. They're reliable. And but yeah, it's really unfortunate because you can see almost every dealership that you drive by, they have no cars. There's literally no cars. And I was talking to the guys over at Drive Auto Group, and they were telling me right now the auction is so out of control that cars used are selling more than what the new cars are. They're at the auction.
It's true.
It's crazy. And the thing you've never heard before is the dealerships are putting up ads saying, we'll buy your car. Like they will take your piece of whatever. They'll probably give you something for it. And these are the guys that used to take your trade in and say, this thing's worth 500, or they laugh at you, and it would sit in the back of the lot. Like when I used to work at the dealer, man, we used to get pretty decent cars. They would just sit there, and some dude used to show up, and he was the wholesaler, and he would buy like 10 trade-ins, right? And I'm
Next to
looking at these
nothing.
cars going, damn, bro, yo, give me one of those. Like I'll fix it up and I'll make some coin on it. But the guy would buy like 10, load them up, take them to the auction, and it was just like that was his effort for taking the car from the dealer to the auction, and then whatever the price that these secondary used car lots were gonna pay for that car, they were making their money that way. But now the dealer's not doing that. Like, they're taking every trade-in. Like, they're like, yeah, they're hungry for trade-ins, and they're literally trying to fix them. They're trying to make them half decent, and even if they don't want to fix them, they're selling them as is, but like real money on the table, right? Like,
And then they're going.
yeah,
It's a seller's market.
So how long do you think this will last in the car industry? Because, like, obviously, we already know why this is happening, because the new cars are not coming on the market. So suppose if the chip shortage actually catches up, let's say another 2 years, 3 years, what happens then? Does the table turn around?
Well, it's just supply and demand. So this is going to continue on for, I think disruption as a whole is a year away at least.
I think it's 3 to 4 years.
You think so? That
I
long?
think so. Yes.
Okay, so I have a serious question, right?
Yeah.
So let's say I'm a young guy. How do I get into the housing market? Do I rent? Do I save up? Do I stay with my parents? Like, what
Or do we have a
the fuck
chance?
do I do, man?
Probably the best option is stay with your parents and save money, because rent is not cheap. I mean, a basement nowadays is going about $1,400 to $1,600. A house is renting around.
Basement?
Yeah, remember there was time when basements were like what, $400,
$500,
$500, right?
500, and that was expensive.
Before my time, way before my time.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
tell you
crazy.
that much.
Yeah, and best thing to do is stay with your parents, save up, and it becomes so difficult.
So, like, okay, you're not getting it first time. You're not buying a house. If you are ready, where do you start?
So first thing first, you start with a mortgage approval, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you're a young guy, and let's say one of your apprentices has a dream of he wants to buy a house. It's not a bad, because they probably won't get this advice from a school. Start building up your credit. Make sure you have a good credit. Get a credit card. Make sure you pay it every month. Make sure the credit scores are going up. So you need a good credit score.
Yeah.
B, you need the income, right?
You gotta make that moolah.
You got to make that moolah, because based on your income is what you're going to get approved.
Okay.
And nowadays, there's all kinds of cool incentives that the government's giving. If you put down 5%, there's something called shared equity, where the government gives you 5%, kind of help you out a little bit, lower down the monthly payment, plus it helps a little bit with approval. They'll own 5% of your property, and whenever you sell, you'll have to give that 5% back.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Right?
That's amazing.
Or after
fair.
25 years. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
reading all this stuff from the mortgage site. So
That's
number
really
one,
cool.
prepping your credit.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a good credit. Whenever you use your credit card, use your credit card. Don't even use your debit. You have a 21 period of grace period, or depending on whichever company you are, pay it off. Because they want to see that you're good with your credit, you have good control over it, and then income, and then the down payment. Like, for a first-time buyer right now, it's becoming so difficult. You almost need, like, combined income. People
You
are
gotta
not.
find a girl. In other words,
That's what it's
you gotta
coming
find
down to,
okay,
A partner.
a partner. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's an important one.
right?
Yeah.
And
So what's a typical down payment? You need $100,000 pretty much.
sorry,
Like,
sir?
if it's my
The
first
typical
time,
down payment.
a typical down payment. What's the
You
first
can
time?
qualify
it
Should
as-
I be okay? Should I be looking into buying, let's say, a condo that's cheaper, plus it's gonna be built in 3-4 years? Do I save that way? Am I getting today's price, or am I paying tomorrow's price?
you're paying tomorrow's price. You're usually
So
paying.
that's not the cheaper route then.
No, it's not the cheaper route. I mean, look at the condos nowadays. They're booking in downtown, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're booking, most of their prices, one bedroom. They're not even 600 square feet, 500 something. Their prices are like around 724 to 750 ish.
Yeah.
And when you divide that by square foot, it's around $1,200 to $1,500 per square foot.
Wow.
And when you talk to the builder and you go like, "Hey, man, the resales are going around $599 or $650," and they're like, "You know what? That's not today's price. That's 2024, 2025 prices,
Oh,
right?"
wow.
Remember back in the days, you had resale homes are always selling higher than new builds.
Yeah.
Now it's the opposite, right? The new builds are way more expensive than resale. That's why the market went parabolic, because, as a buyer, as an investor, or even a first-time buyer, second-time buyer, whatever you're doing, you're always looking, where am I getting the most value for my money? And it seems like right now with resale, and that's why the resale market just went parabolic, right? So back to first-time buyers, it's honestly really tough. And I work mostly with investors. I don't remember it's probably been 2-3 years since I worked with a first-time buyer. It's so difficult. Nowadays, a first-time buyers.
So it's no longer a joke living in your mom's basement.
Nope. Listen,
reality.
last time I
That's a
did a
luxury.
5% deal.
The dream.
I think it's a luxury now. Isn't
Now
it
it is. Last time I did a 5% deal was on a combined income, husband and wife married with a very high salary, probably over 200K plus. And I remember they got approved from CIBC with 5%
So
down.
like getting a house for 5%, that's not realistic.
I haven't witnessed recently.
So you need 20%.
Well, 20% makes it easier,
Yeah.
right? Because there's no CMHC, and then basically your income. It also helps like with approval.
Yeah.
But like back to 5% is possible. I'm not saying it's not, but you're gonna need a really high income.
Yes.
Most of the time, you're gonna get approved. I'm not a mortgage specialist, but like based on what I hear and what I learned from mortgage agents, it's that basically if you're gonna get approval for whatever your salary is by
Yeah.
4.5 time of that. So if you're making 100K, 450,000. What can you buy with 450,000?
Not too
Shack.
much now. Yeah, not too
Shack.
much.
Yeah.
A small condo, maybe, but barely.
Right? This is where the government needs to come in and help.
So it's just becoming real difficult. Now, what is it? Is it
A lot of the parents are actually helping their kids. I mean,
Yeah.
parents, what they're doing, obviously either they're refinancing or they're using the savings, and they're giving them 15, 20, whatever. I don't know about other culture, but like a lot of the brown, our Indian family, the kids, parents love helping out the kids. So they're literally giving them 20% down. Or the smart ones. And I gotta say, there's some really, really, really smart people out there. And it made them smart because it's just like looking for food. When you can't find food, you're gonna think outside of the box, right?
100%.
So this one buyer, first-time buyer, living with his parent, genius. He only had, he had 20% down because I guess parents helped him out. So he couldn't afford to buy anything here in the GTA, but he went all the way to London because there you can still find a nice detached for 500,000, 400,000. So his thing was like, okay, I'll buy it now and put it on rent. When I'm ready to move out, maybe that could be 3 years, 4 years. Maybe I can sell and use that equity. Maybe I can afford to live back in Toronto or do something, right? So
That's pretty smart. Yeah. That's
there's
smart.
always a way, you know what I mean? You just got to find a way out. And that's one of the reasons why all these small town prices of homes went up because, you had the option to work from home, right? Condo market struggled. People are scared to live in condos because, you can catch COVID.
So let's say you own a house. You want to buy yourself a car, and car prices are going out of control too.
Yes, they are.
What's the smart thing? Do you take money out of your house equity, or do you finance, or do you lease?
It depends. Like, it depends. Suppose in my situation, I have a house line of credit, right? I look at the interest rate that if I'm financing a car, if it's a used car, it's around 6 to 7%.
Yeah, 7%. Yeah,
7%.
6.99,
I would
yeah.
say typically if you're buying a new car, maybe it's a good idea to finance.
Yeah,
But suppose if you're buying a used car,
yeah,
and if I'm going to pay 7% compared to my line of credit, which secure line of credit is 2.95, I think, at the moment, right?
yeah.
I would probably use my line of credit because every payment I make is going to be based on the interest I'm going to pay is based on my remaining balance.
Yeah.
So suppose if I spend 30,000,
Yeah.
when the payments I'm making monthly, I'm thinking, you know what? Instead of paying the dealer, I'm paying paying the loan back, which is obviously mentally also harder. Because think about it, sometimes people get lazy and they don't make payment because you have that leverage, like, oh, it's my own line of credit, I'll pay whenever I want, right?
Yeah.
But if you're smart and you want to save a little bit of money, because most of used cars, the interest rate is calculated from day one. That's why they're open loans, right?
Yeah.
They calculate their interest rate right from the get-go, from day one, right? So with line of credit, it all depends on your situation.
You can also set up automated payments for your line of credit, so you don't have to worry about
exactly
missing that
if you want to
payment.
do
You
that.
know that's crazy because like I'm trying to sell my Tesla right now, and I was like, man, I literally gave them like $6,000-7,000 of interest for like a loan that I only used for like 6 months. So I wanted to call them and hey, but obviously that interest was calculated from the day that I bought the car, so there's nothing I can do. But if I had done that on my line of credit, I would be laughing right now.
Yeah, you can pay it
That would
off.
be a big win.
There you go.
So I think even for me going forward next time, I'm really gonna look a little bit. The problem is when you're buying a car, you're excited, man. Like when you are picking up and they tell you, and I got played like this before. The last when I bought my Audi, they snuck in like a $1,200 rim protection, and I went to go pick up the car and they're like, oh yeah, oh by the way, we had to get this rim protection to get the bank to approve this deal. I'm like, what? That's BS. Like I gave you guys a 40% down payment for the car. So that's impossible. That doesn't even make any sense. So I knew they played me, but I was just so excited, man. I didn't want to argue. I just wanted to sign and get the hell out of there. So the dealer, I think one of the things that we all need to practice is, especially when you go to the dealership, slow down.
Slow it down.
Put your excitement to the side, or take someone. I'm gonna take.
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
It's a
just
really good
slow
point.
down. Don't listen to everything you're hearing. Slow down. Go to multiple dealers. Even if you're
Yes.
buying an Audi, don't just go to one Audi dealer. Go
Search
to
far and
like
wide.
2-3 Audi dealers, and figure out what car you really want. Pick on it. Find out what Auto Trader says. Like, do your little online research. Go to the dealer. Talk to them. If it's a brand new car, man, look at the piece of paper. See what the final number is, and if it says 60,000, say, well, I'm trying to pay like 55. Or I'm trying to pay 50, lowball them.
Play the
And
hard
just
No,
game.
look at the market value, fair market value. Compare with other cars.
Well, I've done that on a new car. I know right now it's hard, but once I bought a Lexus and I got like $5,000 off, and I know you did the same thing. And
I got $11,000 off.
yeah, so
On a
how
brand
did
new
that even happen?
Lexus RX 300 from Lexus.
That's brilliant.
And it was all because I was able to slow it down.
Yeah, slow it down.
Slow it down.
Yeah.
Look what other people are offering. Talk to other dealer. I got multiple dealers involved because
See who's hungry.
But you're playing it smart at that point. You're not playing it impulsive. Because when you're rushing
But this is where the
head over
dealer
heels
wins.
inwards,
Yeah.
the dealer smells it. They're like sharks. They know. It's just like if you walk into the dealer and you say, hey, I have a trade-in. You're not going to get the same for your vehicle, your trade-in, as if you sit down to look at the vehicle you're interested in purchasing, and then you say, oh, well, you know what, I have a trade-in.
Yeah,
What would you give me for
I learned that trick too. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it's
So
smart.
the key is, let's say you go to a bunch of dealers, look at their final number, hassle them on the final number. So if you could get $1,000 off, like right now, you're probably not going to get anything off, and that's just supply and demand. So you're probably
next
not
year or
gonna
two
win.
you're not gonna get.
Yeah.
Well, it's still
But
possible.
no,
yes.
try, right? But the second thing I would say is, don't say you have a trade-in. When they ask you initially, do you have a trade-in? Be like, no. I'm just buying a new car. Get that out of their head, because I've seen this multiple times. The best trick the dealer plays is that they'll be like, oh, you have a trade-in? Oh, we're going to give you great money for your trade-in, and you walk in with a car that's worth $20,000 and you're buying a car for $50,000, and it's like we'll give you 20 off, and the car's going to be 30, but I could walk in with nothing and that $50,000 car is like 45. So I saved 5,000. Right, but what they'll do is they'll take your $20,000 car and be like, oh yeah, oh man, this is difficult to sell. We're gonna send it to the auction. We'll give you like 11 for it. So you just lost $9,000.
Exactly.
And you paid 5,000 more than I would have. So realistically, for a $20,000 car, they gave you like nothing. Where you could have actually just sell it on Auto Trader. If you want a quick sale, look at a car and just be super aggressive on your price. If you put that $20,000 car for 18, it would sell in a couple of days.
Yes.
And now you have cash in hand. Now, the one thing you got to remember is the nice thing about trade-ins, and this is why sometimes it's okay to take a little bit less money, is your trade-in HST is included. So on a $20,000 car is plus HST. So if you're buying a $50,000 car, you have a $20,000 trade-in, that HST on the $20,000 is kind of erased. So there's a little bit of a savings there. So, you got to take that into consideration, right? But the dealer plays a lot of games. I mean, this is why they have a business office. Like the other one is, if you lease a vehicle, why would you get fabric protection? Why would you get rust module protection and all? Like, you're leasing the car. You're going to have it for 4 years and you're going to give it back to them. Don't let them play
Is there
you.
a standard wear and tear? Like people probably don't read the contracts properly. Then I guess. I mean,
People are just excited, man. That's all it is. Impulse buys.
But
right?
that's a really good point you made. If you know all the facts, even the trade-in value, if you know what your car is going to sell actually outside on a retail market, if you have those number alone, you can negotiate a little bit better. So you can find a way, and you can just tell them straight up, like, hey, listen, I can go this route, sell this privately, come back, and then, just to get a fair deal. But then that's the problem, right? So what I find with the dealers, if they find someone that knows the industry, that knows how to buy and sell, if they find that you have this knowledge, then again, they know that you have this knowledge. No matter where you go, you're gonna play the same card. Someone's gonna give in. So why lose a customer? So they'll give you a deal.
Yeah.
They'll give you
Okay,
what
they'll
you
give you a
want.
deal.
Yeah.
Because from their side, maybe this is less than 5%, 10%. Most people, honestly,
They'll make that up elsewhere.
No, most people are busy with their lives. Let's be
what I'm
real.
saying is the dealer will make that money
Somewhere
up
else,
elsewhere
exactly.
on another client.
Yes.
So what they lose on you, they make up somewhere else. They're okay at the end of the day. They're still up. It's a long game.
Yeah, it's a long game.
Most people don't know this, right? More and more people, do this.
I think it's just don't get too excited. Hold your horses. Because I have a problem and I get excited. If I like something, I'm like, I want it now.
You and I both.
I want it now.
I know.
I don't care. Let's. Where do I sign? Just let me get out of here. Let me know when I can.
I have
come
the
pick up.
opposite habit. I have to do my due diligence. I
Yeah.
don't care if it takes 2 weeks longer. I gotta make sure, it's a fair deal. At the end of the day, because there's some stuff. Sometimes you don't care because the excitement does get to you.
Yeah.
Right. But then there's
You just got to know when to pull it back.
yeah.
That's the thing, right? Like you can get excited, but pull it back. Like know when you need to sort of say, hey, you know what? This is not a good idea. Like the recent truck that I purchased, I did it privately, right? The gentleman wanted $26,000 for it. I picked at him for months. I knew I wanted it, but I just kept, hey man, how's it going? Hey man, how's it going? You want to sell it? How about this? How about that? And then
But
finally,
you weren't in a rush to buy, right? So
no, exactly.
you had another car.
Exactly.
So let's
but
say,
even if I didn't, I knew I wanted it, and I knew at the end through my interaction with the gentleman that at some point something was going to give.
Yeah.
Right. So eventually, I walked away paying $14,000 for the truck.
So
Right?
guys, we all, even Save knows, I have a technical background too. This is, cars are in my blood. But let's talk about one thing. New car versus used car. Right? Let's be real. Like some of the new cars nowadays, literally 100K, 90K, that same car, if it's used at 40 or 50, what's a better value? What's a better buy? Like
I don't think right now matters because a used car is more money than a new car.
Well, I think who's
Like
winning.
I was-
No, general
talking
question.
about
Just a
this.
general question. Like, let's say, obviously, at the end of the day,
I'll give you an example. I went to go look at an RSQ8 with all the bells and whistles, 150,000, right? It's a year away before you get it. If you want one right now, 2022 with 2,000 kilometers, there's a bunch of them on Auto Trader. They're 190.
That's now.
That's what's going on.
That's
That's
now.
Yeah.
nuts.
So right now, I mean, it's like I don't even know what advice to give because it's out of control.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But let's just say if things go back to normal, right? So that same car that's 150K, if it's a year old, or let's say 2 years old, roughly,
Yeah.
right? Is there a drastic difference in performance? Is there a drastic difference? What's the difference between a brand new and a 2-3-year-old?
I think it's more preference because something under 50,000 kilometers, I consider it new. I mean, at that point,
it'll perform exactly same as a brand new car.
pretty
In
much.
theory, yes.
It's more, you know what it is? It's the smell. You want a new car smell, then pay up. You want to have the feeling that you bought it at 0 kilometers. I think it's more mental state of mind, right? You want to have that 0 kilometer feel. You're the first owner. To some people, that's important.
I like my
right?
cars a little used, like a little more mileage.
Yeah, no, that's reason I'm asking that question. I'm just trying to figure out, like, everybody has different perspective.
Exactly.
Like, I'm just thinking,
Okay, so what I'm saying is you buy a car that has 150,000 kilometers, 5-6 years old. You have no real history on the car. There's a lot of unknowns. You buy a car I think the perfect car is off lease. 3 to 4 years
Yes.
off lease, 60, 70,
probably the
80,000
best.
kilometers. That is almost as good as a new car.
and it's
right?
probably service, bro. Like,
Sometimes.
Well,
Mate,
you're always gonna get bid. Lyndon, you
Yes.
get bid on a new car.
Yes.
I used to work, I'm not gonna name the dealer, but I used to work at a dealer off the truck. We had cars with loose seat belts. We had one came in, the engine was blown. We had one where the clutch was smashed. I mean, brand new. And I'm like, imagine that guy who thinks he's buying a brand new car and it just had another engine put into it. That's
Yes.
pretty embarrassing.
Yes.
So there's always gonna be that one-off, right? But realistically, you know what?
You're right.
If you buy a car that's 3 or 4 years old, you're just gonna save a lot of money.
And
right?
the reason why
Yes.
I'm asking that, like, if a new car is going to cost me 100K and a used car that's 2-3 years old, let's say 3 years old roughly.
Yeah, 3 years
It's going to
old.
cost me 50K, half the price,
Yeah.
right? Instead of tying up 100K all into the car, that car is going to give me the same performance. It's going to deliver the same, I wouldn't say maybe the same satisfaction, but it's pretty close. I can use that 50,000 now for something else.
Of course.
Maybe I can
That's
use
smart.
it towards investing that 50K. Either I can, use it for something a little bit more valuable. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of time people will make the argument that, oh, it's used car, you got to spend a lot of money on it, this and that. All right, fine. Like, let's say you work out a data sheet. Okay, this car is 4-year-old. And if you keep it for another 4-year-old, how much money are you going to spend on repairs? If you keep it for another 4 years, are you going to spend $50,000 on repair for the next 4 years that you keep that car?
I can't see that unless you're abusing it, breaking it.
Exactly.
And again, when you're purchasing that 4-year-old car, you have an option. Hopefully, you're buying it from a reputable place, but to buy aftermarket warranty. There's great aftermarket warranty companies out there that will cover a lot of work. So
There are, yes.
again, if you're buying a car, let's say a Mercedes, I'll give you an example. You're
So
gonna
if you're
buy
buying
a
a-
2018 Mercedes C350 or C3, one of those decent price. You're saving a lot of money from brand new.
Yeah.
You know what you buy has 80,000 kilometers. Well, bring it in, get a good shop to check it out, right? Get a safety recheck. So make sure that whoever you bought it from did a proper safety on the car, because you'd be surprised. Sometime even at 80,000, there might be a leaking shock or something minor. And then I wouldn't even think about it. Change the oil, air and cabin filter, put on some new wiper blades. If it's all-wheel drive, replace diff fluids. Personally, me, I would just change all the fluids.
Start with changing the
That's
fluids.
just in my head. If I'm buying a car like that and I'm saving 50,000, what's $2,000 just to have that peace of
And it's
mind?
unfortunate people don't think that way.
Yeah, but
So
this
a
is
lot of the
hopefully
general public doesn't see what goes into a vehicle. And as an advisor, sometimes you see customers asking
Maybe
questions.
they're not
How
informed.
important are fluids?
Yeah.
Right? They think that it's a gimmick, and it's in actuality it's not. Like,
Like how many times do we see a differential go bad and then the fluid is like brown mud, like it's disgusting.
and it's usually because of that.
Yeah.
If you most customers, if they just pay attention to their car manual, open it up, I'm pretty sure it kind of recommends at what kilometers
Exactly.
you should change your diff, your tranny, your engine oil. These
Yeah.
fluid, if they maintain that alone, they'll probably save a lot of money in breakdown, right? Because you're right, a lot of the diffs, the fluids are not changed on time.
I think if you're the real answer here is if you want to save yourself money but have a really nice car, used.
Maintain.
It's used. Go used. 3-4 years old, and don't try to buy something that's like a special edition because you're probably not gonna save. You want a one-off Porsche. Porsche only made 10 of those. Yeah, you're probably paying way more than it was brand new. But any normal car, you know what? 3-4 year old, any car, even like a Caravan. If you want like a minivan, you buy a Caravan that's 3 years old with 60,000 kilometers.
that's where the best value lies.
Yeah, you're gonna get the best value.
to
And
4
you know what?
years.
If you want to do your due diligence, yes, you know what? Try to see if you can get some history on the car. So and that's why I like vehicles that were under lease, because I think it's a mental state of mind, right? Like if I'm leasing a car, I'm scared. I'm like, yo, I gotta return this car in 3 years. Oh man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Oh, I want to have my records so I don't have to pay for it, because essentially you're renting a car for 3 years.
A lot of the lease cars, I mean, a lot of the Europeans, they usually cover the maintenance.
Yeah,
Like the
a
oil
lot of them
changes
are,
and
yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because they know those cars are most chances are the dealer's gonna end up buying it back, right?
Yeah.
And they know if the customer has to pay for the oil, suppose they don't do oil changes on time and that damages the engine. But maybe, because they're built pretty good, up
Yeah.
to 60,000, there's not that real damage, but there's a possibility.
But what if someone doesn't change the oil for 60,000? I've seen it before.
But see, here's the thing. I've had customers say, you know what? It's a lease. I don't care. I'll do an oil change in 15, 20,000 kilometers. I don't care.
Yeah,
It's a
you
lease.
get that too. Yeah, you get that too.
Well, it's okay. It's a lease. I
Yeah.
don't care. I'm not keeping it. And then in my mind, I'm like, oh no, that poor second owner.
That's that's why a lot of the dealers, they cover the maintenance, because they know,
Yes.
especially if it's an expensive car.
But some of the
Especially if
maintenance
it's a
intervals
European- a lot
are
of the
the
European
15,000 kilometer oil change intervals that some of these dealers have now.
Yeah, but Lyndon, on that, I mean, I'm not a supporter of 18,000 or 20,000 kilometer oil change, but on a brand new car with really good high quality oil, if it's being driven a certain way, I think I let it slide. Now, of course, that doesn't always apply. You have somebody that drives short distance, 5 kilometers a day. I mean, how long is it going to take for him to hit that 18,000? But then again, the computers they don't always go by 18,000.
They go by kilometers and time.
Yeah,
That's
there's some
good.
time involved. So it's not
6
bad.
months or a year.
But
maximum.
like I said, you're gonna save money. Go with the used. Now, if you're a guy, you like to have new. You like to have the new car smell, and especially if you are buying a really nice car that gives you options. Like when I was looking at the RSQ8, you can do the ceramic brake upgrades. It's $10,000. But for me, I love that. I honestly, I know it sounds stupid. It's 10,000, but I love those brakes. I love the way they look. I would pay for that. Then like a speaker upgrade to get way better sound. It's like $6,000. I don't care. I don't care for that. The speakers they come with are actually amazing. But if you're a guy you love sound, when you turn the car and the speakers are coming out by themselves, for you that's you would look at me and say, "What? You spent $10,000 on brakes? Are you stupid?" Like everyone has their own thing. So on a new car,
I want to be that buyer who buys his car after 3 years.
Yeah, but exactly.
Yes.
You know what? That's the nice thing.
Yeah.
If you are buying a really like a cool car that gives you those options, then you want to personalize it to yourself. It's amazing. Right? Now, if I'm the guy who's selling that car after 3-4 years, I'm an idiot then. Or I have too much money and, and there's a lot of people like that. They just don't care. They're enjoying their 3-4 years. Now, if you're the guy buying that used, oh yeah, you win. Because in the used market, that $10,000 brake kit is actually probably not worth $1. Like no one cares for it. Because the general public could care less. It's not a track car.
Exactly.
You're not walking in looking for a used car going, it's got to be ceramic brakes because I'm taking this car on the track, right? So it'll probably end up someone's gonna buy it who probably doesn't even know what those brakes are, and they ever had to get replaced, they would probably sell the car because they'd be like, I'm not paying that much for a brake job. So 100% used is always the way to go, but avoid higher 150K over. 7-8 year old car. Well, and we get a lot of those. We get someone buy a 2011 BMW, comes in and it needs $5,000 worth of work. And they're like, what? I just bought this thing. The guy said it was so good. And I was telling him, well, if it was so good, why did he sell it? There's a reason for that. And unfortunately, this is what it is.
But even if you spent $5,000, I mean, like, suppose that same BMW when it's brand new, it comes with warranty.
Yeah.
What is that BMW, like 60, 80K, something like that, I guess?
Let's say 50,000.
50,000.
And you can get one for $8,000. And if you have to spend $5,000 on it,
And it gives
me
you 3
personally,
years out
I
of
would
it?
say it's worth it.
And if it gives you good 2-3 years out of it?
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. It
Right.
looks great. It drives great. Unfortunately, it needs some loving.
So, Pickering Auto Lab or high speed performance, how did it become what it is today? And how was the journey from the start? Because that's what really interests me is how are we here today? Where did it start?
Okay, so I think I told you this, but I touched on it. I had an Integra. He knows all about it. This is my first Integra I bought. And see, I always like the weird things. Like ceramic brakes is my thing, but back then, my weird thing was HID. Xenon lights. And back then a Xenon light kit was like $800 and nobody had it. That was like the cool shit. Like if you had HIDs on your car, you were the man, bro. So anyways, I figured a way to get them. I got them from Korea. And then after I was like, wait a minute. Me and him were talking. I said,
Hold up one second. North
What?
or south?
I can't tell you that.
Okay,
Sorry.
Okay.
South.
All right.
Anyways, I was like, yo, we should do this. Like, we should sell this shit. And he was like, yo, what are you talking about? All right, like, what I love about Abid, man, he's always there for me. Till this day, he's always there for me. Doesn't matter what fucked up idea I have. He's like, let's do it. Or
Find a way.
see where
Let's
this
elaborate.
goes.
Let's find a way.
So we
brainstorm, succeed.
We ended up, we were thinking what we should do. We're young guys, we're working, and you know what? The flea market sounded like the best idea.
It was economical at the moment, something we could afford.
Back
I
in
think it
the
was
day.
3 of us. Jesse also.
There was another guy too.
But-
No, there was 4. Okay, we originally started. So when I had this idea, I thought about it. We spoke. Then I went back to work. I remember I was in the lunchroom. I was writing down different names of what I wanted to be, and somehow high speed performance stuck. Like it sounded
How
good.
did the high speed? Was it from the high speed internet or?
No, I don't know what it was, but I was an apprentice. I was sitting in a lunchroom with a bunch of. I was working at Toyota at the time, and I was sitting there and I was scribbling names during lunch. And out of all of them, the high speed performance sounded cool. I don't know, it sounded amazing, and all the guys agreed. So, boom, there
Yeah,
we
he
go.
came up with a name. We were coming up with a whole bunch of stuff. So it was like, where do we start? And then Pickering, I think Pickering Flea Market.
No, the story is better than that. So originally, we were broke. We had no money, and we didn't. So my friend told me, "Hey, my buddy is opening up this brand new flea market in Etobicoke on Highway 27. You know that flea market that's already there? There's
Highway
a flea
27
market.
in Albion.
There's a flea market close to the racetrack there.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's been there for years. It's like the spot, and it's expensive. And I think we went there. They weren't accepting any car vendors or any vendors. So this guy's like, hey, he's opening up this flea market. You guys should talk to this guy. So I spoke to the guy, and he was like, yeah, I'm opening a thing. Oh, don't worry, you'll be the only car guy. I want first and last. So we spoke and we said, let's do it. So we didn't have money to buy tables, so my dad made these tables. Like these tables we made
From wood, yeah.
from wood with glass
I
on them.
remember
with
buying
shelves.
the plexiglass from Home Depot.
Yeah.
And helping him assemble. Well, first of all, let's get to how we got to Flea Market. We were both living in Brampton. And
I know, but I'm getting there.
Yeah.
So pretty much, we made these tables because this is a really important part. We made these tables. We took like a little loan from the bank of $5,000 and bought a whole bunch of lights and everything you saw on Fast and Furious. We bought it. Stickers and lights and air fresheners. And remember the shoulder pads? They used to say Honda. And
we started off a bunch of racers. We didn't know about
was
the
all
industry.
racer
We
stuff.
had no idea of the performance industry. We kind of learned step by step.
Back then, it was the shit.
Oh no,
Bro, it was.
back then. That was the cool stuff though.
Neon lights?
Yeah, that was cool. So, anyways,
Started out with the lighting. That's
we
how crazy
set
it
up
is.
in this flea market, this brand new flea market. There's all these new vendors. It's a warehouse, and everything's just happening. So we're set up. We're all excited. Hey, grand opening is 2 weeks from now. Oh, we're gonna kill it. So on the day of the grand opening, we go there. And there's like a whole bunch of people in front of the doors, and we're like, they're chained up, okay? And we're like, what the hell's going on here? And there's like a letter there that said, pretty much like, you guys are getting kicked out. So it was just a scam. So this guy, he duped us all. Like I'm telling, there was probably like 100 something vendors there, okay? Wow. So he took first and last. And he just ran away with the money. So everyone did all this work for nothing. And obviously whoever owned the building took back whatever it was and said, like, take your shit and get out of here.
Wow.
So we got lucky because he never took money from me. He kept saying, yeah. So I don't know if because I knew his friend or maybe I just got lucky. Probably we got lucky. So originally we started with 4 guys. One guy dropped out right from the beginning. Like he was interested, but he dropped out because his dad didn't want him to do it. Remember, we're like 21-year-old guy, 20, 21.
Yeah, 20, 22.
My other
bunch
friend,
of young kids.
Yeah, my other friend. So it was now down to 3 of us: me, Abid, and Jesse. And then Jesse, I think, a few weeks into it, he was like, "Man, this is a lot of work." So he kind of fucked off, and we're like, me and him are, holding the bag, you could say. And now we're in this really fucked up situation. We brought everything home to my garage. Everything's just sitting there, and we're like, what do we do, And a friend of mine, she told me, hey, you guys should come to Pickering. Like, the flea market's really nice here. And we're like, oh, God, okay.
That's far.
It's so far. We're from Brampton. Anyways, we drove out to Pickering, and we were like, holy shit, like, this place is beautiful. I'm used to, like, ghetto flea market, like, shit everywhere. Like, this is clean, nice big lot, big building. We walk in, it smells nice, like it's organized. I was like, okay, it's not bad.
Work with this.
We could work with it. So we spoke to management. They had a spot. They let us in, and that was grand opening was 2006, December 1st, 2006. That's when we started. So that was
that's my luckiest month. I love December.
2006, December 1st or December
Well,
6th?
December in general. Every year in December, I always always good things happen. Probably because my birthday's in December.
Get a little excited.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah, we started in there. It was a little 10x10 booth, and
Yeah.
we honestly had no clue what the hell we're doing.
We had no clue. We were buying stuff. Do you remember some of these Chinese store in Scarborough, like these suppliers?
Toucan.
Toucan.
Do you
There you
remember
go. You actually
Toucan?
remember?
No.
Remember what was that other guy's name? What's his name? The other.
It's called
Asian-
Toucan Industries. They used to sell every ricer part available.
Yeah.
Shoulder pads, lights, bulbs, air fresheners,
For me, this
And
is
what
a
was the other
history
guy
lesson.
called that was on Markham Road there? Markham and
CLA.
CLA.
There was a company called CLA. We used to
CLA,
buy
but there was
from.
another guy north of Markham and near 407.
That's
there.
Toucan.
That's Toucan.
Yeah,
Okay.
he used to be like their supplier.
Yeah. So yeah, we were selling like light bulbs. See, I guess what he just kind of mentioned, and then as we got deeper and deeper into it, started researching, started learning, and Fast and Furious.
Bro,
culture
we're
was,
exactly like the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
Like first was all riced out, then the second one got cooler, the third one got better. Exactly how we ran the business. We were like Ricer's Paradise in in the first phase.
So when did you transition away from that? Is that before or after The Rock came on the series?
Shit.
way before that. I think
Oh, okay,
we learned
okay.
pretty quick.
Yeah,
I would say
I-
within 6 months or so, because
No, I think like our first year was tough and we barely made any money. Like we're just kids, man. We're just having fun. Like, bro, you know what it was?
You broke even.
I don't even know if we broke it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we must have
We were
been
paying
making
rent at
something.
least.
Yeah,
We
we
were
could
just
afford
doing
to
this-
pay rent.
like
Yeah.
it's just Saturday and Sunday kind of deal, and then slowly,
Yeah.
and then we got creative. Remember how we started dealing with the big brands? First, we were dealing with company back in Mississauga, JRP. Then we found a way to become direct suppliers, starting getting parts right from USA. Like we just didn't sit around.
No, you know what happened? So I remember this. I remember one time I picked up like a TN coilovers, right, from GRP, and then it had a Buffalo address on there. I was like, ding, Buffalo, eh? So I came home, I like Googled it. It was like some freight forwarding company in Buffalo. I was like, oh, okay. So these guys are buying stuff from US, sending it to Buffalo, and probably, I mean, they're big operations. They're probably sending a truck down and bringing it. So I kind of started looking to distributors in the US. So originally I started with Motivicity. They are gone now. They got bought over by Turn 14. And that was my main supplier. And I remember I was dealing with a whole bunch of companies from California, and they were just shipping everything into this warehouse, this freight forwarder in actually Niagara Falls, New York. So I would go after work on Friday. I would drive down, man, and I had a nice little cube van. I would drive down. I would load everything up. I had all this documentation of every part that I had in the van. And these guys were so nice. They had a trailer outside, and they used to leave all my stuff on Friday outside in the trailer. I had a key. I would go. I would open it, load it up. It was so sketchy. It was like this dark street. And once I even got like cops showed up because it just looked like I'm stealing shit. I'm like this random dude with a van. Like I got this fence open. I'm inside the trailer. And bro, I hate spiders. Like I fucking hate spiders. And I would first have like, I'd have to kill the spiders that were in my way, right? I'll be like, oh shit, and I would load up everything. And once the cops came and they were like, what are you doing here? And I told them I had paperwork. So they didn't trouble me. They were really nice to me actually. And then I would have to cross the border and I would have to go through customs. I'd have to go file every damn part, where it was from, what the value was through customs, and then go sit there in this lobby. And sometimes like 4 or 5 hours, like 4 a.m, they would release me. Like they would say, okay, high speed performance. And I'd go into the office, I'd pay them duties and taxes that I owe, and then I'd drive down. But that was a freaking
that was
journey.
a grind.
That was a real grind.
So
But we were
like
able to-
sometime I remember when we were doing he was still working as a tech. Some Saturdays I'll have to go and he couldn't go. I remember taking his little brother with me.
Zane?
Zane,
Yeah.
Shai. They literally grew up in that booth, man.
That's awesome.
We used to
Yeah.
bribe them for pizza slice. You come with me, I'll get you pizza. Hey?
Hey, that's what you had to pay the kids before, a pizza slice.
Nowadays, forget it.
You get in trouble
So-
for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why did you leave me? Like why did you leave? I don't think I ever had a clear answer.
I think it was like, I guess, I mean, I loved the industry,
Yeah.
but I felt like, I was kind of getting a little bit tired of the performance role. It was like a dying industry at the moment. You know what I mean? Kind of had to go with the wind, and that was like my true passion. I would say it was that flea market that got the salesman in me. You know, so I can never. Man, those were the good old days.
Yeah.
You know, and it taught me a lot.
Yeah.
And then I think it was like a lot of my friends, and actually my brother was into, mortgages and investments and all that stuff. And then I looked into real estate, and the more I learned, I just did my first course, and I found it fascinating. I'm like, this is me. Like, I'm a kind of guy not behind scenes. I like to be out there helping, talking, let me see how this goes, right? Because I loved sales.
Yeah.
And I guess it was just something that, I don't know, it's like a new hobby kind of deal. Like, I wanted to see how it works out. And then next thing you know, got deeper and deeper into it. And then obviously, I didn't realize that, man, I was maybe born to be an agent. I enjoyed helping people.
Yeah.
Not even about the money. It was just, like working with people, learning from them. You know what I mean? Because one thing I found out with my job, man, I become a temporary friend to someone that's looking to buy or sell, right?
Yeah.
And then there's all kinds of unique characters out there,
Oh, yeah.
different backgrounds, different professions, right? So when I got deeper into it, I just loved it, and I was like, you know what, I think this is for me. You know what I mean? And also when he was doing I guess he was an auto tech, and when we used to work at the flea market at that time, I did 310T. I was a truck and trailer, truck and coaching, right?
Yeah.
So I felt like I don't know much
See,
about
the
cars.
oil's in his blood. He's got diesel in his blood.
Yeah,
I like
diesel,
that.
bro. I'm a licensed 310T guy, even though I didn't renew my license.
Hey man, you know your stuff. That's all that matters. So, do
Yeah.
you think without high speed performance, you'd be where you are today?
No, because that was like the best business school I went to.
That formed your roots.
Yeah.
That formed who you are, your
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
And molded
Talking
you
to
into
people,
who you are
exactly.
today. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's something about talking to people.
Yeah.
Like you can't learn that in a classroom. And you know what? That was really fascinating about the flea market, because flea market, right? Like everyone thinks, oh, flea market, but I truly, like Pickering is, well, it's not there anymore. But at the time, that was not a normal flea market. People like used to come from Bowmanville, Kingston, like far places.
That flea market had its own culture.
Yeah, like
it
rich
was-
people used to, bro.
Yeah.
One time I went outside and there was like a Bentley park. Like this is back in like 2010. A Bentley was a big deal.
2008, 2009.
Yeah, there was like a Bentley there, and it was one of my customers. And I was like, and then there was another time, one of my and I didn't even know, this guy bought like $1,000 Sparkle carbon fiber steering wheel, and I was like, damn, what's this for? And he's like, I'll bring it next week and I'll show you. And I'm thinking, okay, he has a cool Civic. That guy rolled in with a Lamborghini. Like old school Lamborghini.
I think the other thing was there wasn't really any real performance shop out here in the East.
Yeah,
You know
there's
what I mean? There was
nothing real.
It was funny that we had people come in the flea market once we learned and people inquired.
And this is before Amazon and before all this.
Yeah, bro,
Yeah,
we were
before
bringing
the
in
online craze.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
remember we were bringing in Garrett turbos. We were bringing in all these. Remember
Big brake kits.
Brake kit,
I'm talking
Brembo
$5,000 like big brake kit that I'm selling
piston
at the flea
kit.
market.
Remember we sold one time valve because like we had guys that were passionate about this. Obviously performance industry, but then I guess they either had to go all the way to the West End to either GRP or what was the other one?
There's a bunch, man.
There's a bunch in Markham.
Yeah.
But like, the local community, and then a lot of, you know what? I gotta say, we converted a lot of Ricer into real tuners.
Yeah.
Real performance stuff. We literally educated, whatever we learned, we pretty much educated our customers. And then that's how it's been. It's like formula hasn't changed.
You guys built a foundation.
Yeah. So same thing like real estate. Whatever I learned, my goal is usually to teach my clients.
Tried and true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is why, like, very rarely I crack when it comes to bad situations or high stress, because especially at the flea market, man, that was some, like sometimes it was so busy. You'd have like, you're a 10 by 10 booth. Actually, at one point we were 20 by 10, but you have like 10 people, and you had to serve like everybody at the same time. Like bro, it didn't matter because you're trying to, like, you're only there for 2 days and you're young and you're hungry. You're trying to rack some sales, and it was just boom, boom, boom. Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? Yeah, what you do? You know, it was just, and at one point I remember it was me, Abid. I hired one of my friends who was a technician, and my other friend was a technician. It'll be 4 of us on the booth. And like we're doing installs outside. So like guys are installing intakes, bumpers are off, we're throwing on cold air
Headlights.
intakes, we're putting in headlights, like we're doing like pretty crazy shit, you know?
Yeah.
And but yeah, man, it was fun. It was so much fun. And we're young and we were learning, and no one was teaching us other than customers. So like it was business school 101, customer service 101, everything fast
Everything
paced.
we learned about marketing. Remember, we had to outsource. Our buddy designed our our business card. We couldn't afford to do a lot of things, so it's like it was a wicked. I guess because the cost of running the business was really low. It gave us an opportunity and time to kind of learn the stuff that you typically need to learn right from the get-goes, right? So nowadays, someone trying to get into any industry, doesn't matter what it is, you know what I mean? If you have no knowledge into it, you better have a lot of money to survive those 2-3 years where you
Well,
can't.
I you know what? I think it doesn't matter what you want to do. Have a dream, have a goal, and then don't give up. Right? Like, I mean, the nice thing now is there's so much information.
Oh, yeah,
dude.
now
I
it's a
never had,
different
we never had like, let me YouTube
Smartphone.
this. There was no such thing. I can't YouTube. I just had to like try to learn and explore. But nowadays, all the information's available, right? And if you want to do something, man, don't worry about what anyone says. Just remember, you got to put in the work. You know, there's so many platforms. There's Instagram, there's TikTok. Get yourself out there. Let people know who you are. Just grind. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, there's people selling toothbrushes on Amazon and they're making millions. Like, they're millionaires, you know? So clearly there's a big need for that kind of commodity, you know? Like, so I'm like a big supporter. Hey, work hard, you know, doing the time, get yourself out there. Don't give up. Don't listen to what any haters have to say, because if you believe in yourself, you can make it. You know, I remember I was in the flea market. People would walk by and like laugh at us. They'd be like, look at these guys selling performance. Oh, look at look at the
not
cold
only
air
them,
intake, you know?
not only them, but like other businesses. Whereas one of the biggest reasons that was kind of putting down was like, you know, they're talking all kinds of trash.
It motivates you.
Yeah, it does.
brings
fuels the
out the
fire.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
But you
yeah.
know what
Oh,
it is?
yeah.
It was passion. You know, I think it was passion driven. Like when you're passionate about something, you don't even see it as a job.
Everything else
you don't
is
even,
noise and you're just
exactly.
focused. Yeah.
You don't mind putting in the work.
Yeah.
You know, you don't even notice that you're putting in the work because
Yeah.
it's, you know, you're so passionate about it. And I think that's what people need to discover is just
Yeah.
follow their dreams. But there should be a passion, a realistic dream. I mean, it should be something that they have passion about, knowledge about, something they think they're capable of. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I think you can accomplish anything, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Good words.
thank you for coming on the show. It was really nice talking. We'd love to have you back.
Man, I can come every week. Let me know when you guys want me back.
Great having you, Abby. Great having you.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Take care, guys.